Air and Plumbing College Kickoff on 1010XL. Stay cooler with Bueller. Brought to you by Sonny's Barbecue. Local pitmasters since 68. Here's Matt Hayes.
All right, welcome into the Bueller Air and Plumbing College Kickoff. Brought to you by Sonny's Pit Barbecue. Where you know it, it's all ball all the time. You can smell it, it's in the air. I'm telling you, it's in the air. I drove over the bridge. I took a gander at RV City. It's here, baby. It is here. I'm Matt Hayes. He's JJ LaSelva, producing and making it all sound good. And this is a very, very special weekly 60-minute white-knuckle ride of college football.
We got 30 minutes for the rest of our life.
Oh, Timmy, this one's different too now. This one is different because it's finally here. We know you guys are holed up in RV City right now in the early stages of a clear and comfortable night downtown and ready for the menagerie that begins early tomorrow morning. We know you're in Frat City by the thousands on St. Simon's Island, spending the night just over the border and listening to 1010XL on the app. Of course you are. And waiting to make the early sojourn to Jacksonville, slowly creeping over the bridges until you see that spectacular kaleidoscope of orange and blue and red and black. And know it's here. Florida versus Georgia. Georgia versus Florida. There's no other game like it in college football. I don't care what Texas and Oklahoma say, or USC and Notre Dame say, or Auburn and Alabama, or Ohio State and Michigan. I don't care, man. This game is on another level by itself. If you're on your way from Athens or Gainesville, or driving north on I-95 from South and Central Florida, or driving south on I-75 from Atlanta or Macon, or south on I-95 from the Golden Isles, this is your game. It's here, everybody. And with today's announcement that the game will return to Jacksonville after the stadium renovations for a 4-year deal from 2028 to 31, it's not going anywhere. This is where this game will be. This is it. All we need now is for Florida to hold up its end of the rope and give us a game that this classic rivalry so richly deserves. All right, we got a lot to get into in this hour of power. It's easy to get involved. Jump on the text line brought to you by our good friends at Lifetime Enclosures at 641-1010. Or watch the live stream on the 1010XL YouTube page. At the end of this first segment, we'll open up phone lines, and JJ will take the fourth caller at 641-1010 for our weekly pick segment, where you can get a sweet Sonny's swag bag. All you have to do is beat JJ or I, either one of us, in the 5 games we pick. We gave one up a couple weeks ago.
First one.
Finally paid it off, man. Finally paid it off. Someone finally beat us, picked up that bag of goodies. You know, you got a meat thermometer in there. You got a couple free entrees. You got a football. There's some good stuff in there. We got Baloo coming up in the second segment to talk a little Florida State. We've got Florida Ole Miss ducats to give away, JJ. Yes, we do. At some point over this hour, JJ is going to play. When you hear the Gator Chomp, how about that? All right? And in one of these breaks, when you hear the Gator Chomp, be the third caller.
And you can see your next head coach coaching against your current team in the swamp. A little sneak preview.
In fact, if you were listening to 1010XL earlier this week, when we had Paul Feinbaum on XL Primetime, his point was very clear. Yes, the coach that is the perfect fit for Florida. If it doesn't work out for Billy Napier, let's be fair. Let's be fair to Billy Napier. Would it be Lane Kiffin? Ole Miss rolls into Gainesville later this month. We got 2 tickets for you. So when you hear the Gator Chomp, be the third caller to 641-1010, and we will get those tickets to you. Now, we may hit another big game or two. Ohio State, Penn State's a great game. Texas A&M at South Carolina is another just fun, intriguing game. But this is Gators and Dogs, man. So lock it in. Turn it up in RV City really loud so your neighbors can hear and y'all can just relax and have fun and talk ball. And we'll kick this thing up. All right, JJ, let's run out the tunnel.
Now let's run out of the tunnel. Brought to you by Cannons of Jacksonville for all your towing needs.
All right, Out of the Tunnel is brought to you by our good friends at Cannons of Jackson, family-owned and operated towing and custom welding business serving Jacksonville since 1950. You need a trailer hitch installation or top-quality towing products like gooseneck hitches, fifth-wheel hitches, weight distributing, and tow bars, all at wholesale prices. Go see Cannons of Jacks or call them at 904-733-3524. All right, earlier this month, I'm told a handful of players showed up at Billy Napier's office and told the Florida coach something had to change. Something he had to hear, and that something had to change. The losses were piling up, the coach was careening toward unemployment, and players wanted change. They told Napier the defense had to be simplified if the team had any hope of success moving forward. The defense was just historically bad the previous 2 seasons, was headed there again. Misfits in run defense, a constant loss of gap control, too many combination coverages in the secondary, all of it, leading to multiple blown assignments and explosion plays. And to Napier's credit, he bought in. Now here we are 3 games later, and the change has been remarkable heading into the cocktail party. It might have been the first big step towards saving Napier's job. When Napier will be fired has quietly become if he will be fired, with this sudden surge of better football. In the 3 games since the players asked for change, the defense has given up a combined 56 points to UCF, Tennessee, and Kentucky for an average of 18.6 points per game. And they've given up an average of 298 yards a game. Now you're going to say, well, those 3 teams, well, one of them's pretty good. One of them's going to be in the playoff, okay? UCF was the leading rushing team in the country when they played them at that point. Kentucky, I'll give you that one. But prior to the changes, Florida was giving up an average of 34 points and 500 yards a game in the 3 Power 4 games against Miami, Texas A&M, and Mississippi State. In fact, had Florida not had yet another operational mess in special teams against Tennessee that negated a field goal at the end of the first half, that's coaching, everyone. The Gators would have won 3 straight wins since the players marched into the office and said, some things got to change. Now that's the backdrop. Heading into a rivalry game that Florida hasn't won since 2020, since the COVID season. A game that season after season, this Florida-Georgia game, that has clearly defined just how far the Gators have fallen behind Georgia and the rest of the college football elite. In the last 3 years, Georgia has outscored Florida by a combined average of 40-15. 40-15. But there's hope on the field now. Maybe this is the week. Among all the other weeks of breakdown since the 2022 season began, that the Gators finally play their best game of the season. Maybe this is where Billy Napier gets his signature victory as the Florida coach, and everything turns. Because I promise you, if Florida somehow does the unthinkable and wins this game, which I would argue would be the greatest upset in series history, Napier will be the Florida coach in 2025. You can bet on that. The future is still very cloudy. Florida has 4 wins and is 15-17 under Napier. How many wins does he need, you think, to keep his job? I can't see those deep pocket Florida boosters who have already come up with the cash to fire him whenever the administration decides to fire him, if they decide to fire him. They're going to settle for anything less than 7. 7. But here's the twist to this once inevitable firing. Outside of the cocktail party, now that we've seen this first 2 months of the season, outside of the cocktail party, Florida can beat any other team on the schedule. Yep. They can beat Texas. They can beat LSU. They can beat Ole Miss. And they can surely beat Florida State. If you watch Texas struggle with one-dimensional Vanderbilt last week, that's not a team that can just roll the ball out and win a game. And I think it's very clear that LSU and Ole Miss are also beatable. So maybe we shouldn't settle for 6 wins. Maybe not. We shouldn't even settle for 7. maybe, and this is what I've been saying now for months, lowering the bar of expectations is the worst thing you can do for this program. Now and moving forward. If you keep a coach because he beats the worst FSU team since prior to Bobby Bowden's hiring, and either LSU or Ole Miss at home to get to 6 wins, you're going to keep a coach who's 17-20 in 3 seasons at Florida, where he has every possible advantage to win and win big, where Scott Strickland has literally done everything he possibly wants, Billy Napier. He's given him everything he wants, and the response is 17-20. You're going to keep that coach. Don't settle. Don't hope for 6 wins and hope things get better in year 4. How many times have you heard me say this, JJ? Hope is not a plan. Months from now, we may be looking back at the players' meeting with Napier as a turning point of a season and a coaching tenure. Unless, of course, Georgia does what Georgia does to Florida, typically now, of late. Then if quickly becomes when Napier is fired once again. All right, we're out of the tunnel. JJ, your thoughts?
I would be shocked if Florida pulls it off, but this to me is a Georgia team that's been, it looks like one of the not as great Georgia. I don't even want to say worst Georgia team in a long time, but their least great Georgia team in a while. Florida has some momentum. They do have a great quarterback, seemingly, but to me, like you said on the Frangie Show, like you just said, I don't know if they're going to be able to block up front. With a freshman quarterback, it seems like he makes the one read and then he's sort of confused, doesn't know where to go. Against this defense, you're not going to be able to do that. I like Georgia, and I like Georgia to cover.
All right, here's my thing. I agree with everything you said. You cannot put a freshman quarterback in third and make a play situations. You can't.
I think he's a better quarterback in the future than Mertz. But for me in this game, you'd probably rather have Mertz.
No doubt. No doubt. And it's, look, I would much rather stay in the moment and talk about this game because that's what's important. But the reality is, if you can't block, you got a lot of problems, and I think they're going to have a lot of problems. So then the question becomes is you got to start looking at this thing from 30,000 feet. You got to start saying, okay, so 6 wins is really going to be enough to try year number 4 with this guy? 6 wins will do it? That's asking a lot of your fan base. And I don't care if you've got DJ Lagway, because honestly, let me just say this to you. If, let's say Lane Kiffin wants the job and you fire Billy Napier and you get Lane Kiffin and all of a sudden DJ Lagway says, well, I'm going to Texas A&M. All right, let him go. Because you know what? When Lane Kiffin comes to Gainesville, guess what? Austin Sims is going to follow him right to Gainesville. And you go from having one 5-star guy to getting another 5-star guy. So I don't think you should absolutely decide we can't make a coaching change because of a player or because of a recruiting class. When you start doing things like that, where you avoid making coaching changes or making difficult decisions because of one player or a coaching staff, you can hurt a program for years down the road. We've seen it over and over and over. And I don't think that's the situation.
And what if the quarterback breaks his ankle in preseason or week 1? Then you're just stuck with a crappy coach that you don't want.
Yes, of course.
Who's proven that he can't win. And now he definitely can't win without his star quarterback.
And you're stuck with 4-8 in year 4. I mean, you can't do that.
And a 30-whatever recruiting class.
Right, which is where they're at, right? That's another thing is, we were told
do you really want a quarterback who's gonna be with Billy, wants to be with Billy everywhere he goes? To me, huge red flag. I'm really not trusting his decision making as a whole at that point. If I'm Scott Strickland.
Here's another thing too. The kid will have been there for almost an entire year, probably 10 months. All right, he's made friends now. He's, Gainesville is kind of his home now. So if he truly is a player that sees potential in the actual program,
he'd stay.
Not so much the coach. He's staying. Yes. So that's, again, you cannot get into this situation if you're Florida about hoping you get to 6 wins or hoping you could beat one of the 2 mega teams on your schedule. Forget about hope. It's a losing proposition. Hope is not a plan.
I get Frank was talking earlier today about how at one point in time during the season, 8 of the teams on their schedule have been in the top 10. That's insane. Like, I get that is a crazy schedule, and I'm not trying to downgrade that. But listen, the Gators should be one of those teams.
Of course,
like
JJ,
the Gators should look at a
point.
schedule like that and be like, okay,
Yes.
we belong with those teams, though.
Yes.
Like other teams should be looking at the Gators on their schedule and thinking,
Yes.
damn, we got to play Florida.
Yes.
Like it has been basically 3/4 of my life. So now when you're like saying things like that, you're sort of
It's an
giving him an out.
It's an excuse. Here's another thing, too. Well, boy, look at their schedule. You hear that? Guess what? He's had 3 years to make that roster to the point where that schedule doesn't mean anything. 3 years. So that's not – I don't want to hear schedule from anyone. I'm not just talking about Frank. I mean anyone. I don't care about schedule. There are teams with difficult schedules that actually win games. So, and he's also had the time to build that roster. And I'll say this again. He's been given everything he could possibly ask for from Scott Strickland. Everything. Scott Strickland has never said no to him about anything. And you're looking at a guy, if he goes 6-6, he'll be 17-20 in 3 years. No way. Nope. Not having it. Not having it at all. I'm willing to give him a chance for the second half of the season. Let's see what happens. And I'm the guy that just said they could beat Texas. They could beat LSU or Ole Miss. They could certainly beat FSU. Who knows? Maybe they lose to Georgia and win 4 straight, and then they got 8 wins, and then you're on a roll at that point.
To me, only these out of the remaining schedule, really, Texas and Georgia are the only ones that I'm like, I don't see Billy winning. I'll give him an excuse. You shouldn't beat those teams right now.
Yeah, I don't think Texas is good as you
other
think
ones,
they are.
like Ole Miss lost to Kentucky, dude.
Yes.
Beat their ass. You're at home. Win that game. And then LSU, we've seen LSU lose to one of the
not the same LSU
a USC that's really not great. I know that was week 1 of the year, but Nussmeier's prone to mistakes. We saw last week. So win those games. No excuses. I know it's a tough schedule, but you should beat LSU and Ole Miss at home. And of course, Florida State at the end of the year. No questions asked. Go in there and put up a number like Miami did.
All right, we need to go to break, but I want to say one thing else too. If you watched the Texas Vanderbilt game last week, guess what? You could go into Austin and win that game too, okay? There's no reason to think they couldn't do that as well. That's Texas isn't what everyone thinks they is. All right. We need to take a break. We're going to take the fourth caller at 641-1010 to pick against JJ and win a chance to get that sweet
and you.
Sunny swag. But me and JJ, I said, didn't I say that?
You said JJ, but that's what it's been lately.
Yes, it has been JJ lately. All right. It's the College Football Kickoff Show brought to you by Bueller Air Plumbing and our good friends at Sonny's Real Pit Barbecue.
Every NFL Sunday starts with a kickoff.
All you got to do is put your foot right through the ball.
After the game, we'll crown the special teams player of the game.
He is a difference maker now.
Brought to you by Crown Royal
This is the last play of the game.
on 1010XL.
Hey everybody, Jennifer Marion with Randy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville here to say hello, and we'd sure like to have your business.
You know what? They're going to love the king of price.
My dad believes in making great deals and having a great selection in stock.
Cadillac XT4s, XT5s, and XT6s, and Escalades.
The all-electric Cadillac Lyrics.
CT4s and CT5s.
Cadillac luxury and selection is just waiting for you.
At Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
And don't forget, tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Value or flavor? Price or taste? Why choose when you can get both with everyday deals at Sonny's? Right now, you can get the pork big deal for $10, the pork and rib combo for $12, and all you can eat ribs for just $19.99. Yep, you heard right. All your favorites are now available all day, every day. And that's why it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
If you're looking for custom metalwork, look no further than Superior Fence and Rail. Whether it's custom railing, shade structures, or custom entry gates, their expert team controls the turnkey process. From CAD design and raw metal to powder-coated finish and expert installation. When you choose Superior Fence and Rail for your custom metal project, you get a project that's, well, superior. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail today.
Jags fans, looking for the perfect activity around the holidays? We've got you covered with the inaugural Teal Trot 5K. The race takes place outside Everbank Stadium, Saturday, December 21st. We can't wait to see you there. Your registration includes the 5K, a throwback Jaguars headband, and a ticket to the December 29th game against the Titans. Visit jaguars.com/teal trot to sign up today.
When you're hungry for midday sports talk, share a table with Helmets and Heels.
It's a bad idea to travel on an empty stomach.
Mia, Lauren, and Taylor. We like hungry.
Switched on by First Coast Lighting and Fans.
Noon to 2 weekdays on 1010 XL.
The holidays are coming, and so is your family. Is your septic system ready?
Honey, why is the yard bubbling?
Dad, the dog's swimming in the septic tank.
That's one way to greet the in-laws.
Don't let a septic disaster be the highlight of your holiday dinner. Call Duck Duck Rooter today and get it fixed before Uncle Bob finds out the hard way. Duck Duck Rooter, your local septic experts. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. DuckDuckRooter.com.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Slow, and I want to talk to you today about having a grateful spirit. As we journey in life, it's so easy to take things for granted. But I want to encourage you to never get tired of thanking God for your blessings. Take time also to thank the people in your life who have and are helping you to become the person you are today. Don't go through life complaining, go through life praising.
To hear more inspirational messages by Reverend Dr. Nicholas Lowe, please visit our website at stjohnthedivine.com.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hayes Carline from MyBookie. Have you hit any bets yet this week? Our listeners have been killing it, betting with MyBookie, turning spreads, over-unders, and prop bets into straight cash. It's Florida-Georgia week. On Saturday, the action pops off with the Florida Gators a 16-point underdog to the Georgia Bulldogs. The over-under game total is 52 points. This will be one of the most bet games of the weekend, so keep an eye on the lines. You know it doesn't stop there. On Sunday, you have projected shootouts with the Cowboys versus the Falcons, 52-point over-under total there. The Dolphins-Bills game total of 49, and Lions-Packers, the game is 48-point total. Jacksonville goes to Philly as a 7.5-point underdog to the Eagles, and then you cap it off with Sunday Night Football. The Joe Flacco-led Colts travel to the Vikings. MyBookie still has that double deposit bonus. It doubles your money on your very first deposit. Sign up now with promo code 1010XL and make yourself a winner with MyBookie.
The best golfing weather is upon us, and the Hidden Hills Golf Club invites you to enjoy your next round of golf with us. Our welcoming atmosphere and love for golf keep our friends coming back. Check us out at hiddenhillsgc.com. You'll be glad you did.
Jacksonville, are you ready? The college basketball season is tipping off with an epic in-state showdown. The Florida Gators and South Florida Bulls go head-to-head in the Jacksonville Sports Foundation Invitational. Be there Monday, November 4th at Veterans Memorial Arena and witness this in-state rivalry live. Secure your seats now at Ticketmaster.com. It's Florida versus South Florida to start the college basketball season on November 4th in Jacksonville. Get your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com.
What's changed totally inside and out? The Kuhn Flowers massive storefront, and yes, they've totally remodeled the showroom inside too. This is Frank Frangie, and the next time you drive by, stop and smell the roses at Kuhn Flowers.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now, the Seminole Point of View with Rick Ballou. Brought to you by Vaughn Motor Group on San Jose Boulevard. Dream it, drive it.
All right, you hear him every day on Ballou Into the Night. He's Rick Ballou. He's the truth teller. Ballou, let me throw this at you real quick, okay?
All right.
Shoulda beat Memphis. I know you hate shoulda, coulda, woulda. Shoulda beat Memphis, right?
Right.
Okay. Shoulda beat Georgia Tech. Shoulda beat Duke. I mean, reality, you should be 4-3 right now. Now, obviously they're 1-7, okay? But North Carolina and Charleston Southern are clearly two games that should be won, okay? And then if you got the Gators, who knows what the Gators are going to be at that point, right? And there's a chance, I think, for them to finish with 4 wins. Is there not?
Well, let me say this. There's only one way they beat Florida, and I'm trying to say this respectfully because I don't ever want to see anyone ever get hurt. But the only way they beat the Gators is if Lagway gets injured against one of these top teams in the next 4 weeks. If Florida shows up, they're playing better football. They've won 3 or 4. They almost won at Neyland Stadium, for crying out loud. So I'm going to disagree with you there. I like the chances against Charlie South. On paper, the way you look at this game against North Carolina, you'd figure, sure, absolutely. North Carolina can't play defense. They gave up 70 points to James Madison. They can't stop anyone. The problem is this. Florida State can't score. I mean, look at last week. Miami had given up 34-plus in 3 straight games. Florida State's best play came on a broken situation at the line of scrimmage with Luke Kromenhoek, and it ended up being the biggest play they've had all year for more than 50 yards. So, yes, you should be able to sit here and say it's at home. They can beat North Carolina. But the problem that I have, Matt, is that this team is so challenged offensively, they can't score against anyone. I don't think they'll find a way to be able to score against North Carolina.
All right, so let's just give them Chuck Southern, all right? So let's just say they win. And even if they lose to North Carolina, lose to Notre Dame, lose to Florida, they're 2-10 at that point, all right?
Yes.
What kind of wholesale changes are we talking about? Are we talking about the entire coaching staff? Or are you talking about just select parts of the coaching staff? And we all know that the roster is going to be completely turned over.
Well, the roster is going to be completely turned over, and obviously they're going to have to go back into the transfer portal once again because they're not going to be able to get enough quality 18-year-old high school recruits that are going to commit to them in just a few weeks. I would fire everyone on this staff not named Patrick Surtain. Here's what I do think is going to happen. I think he's going to hang on to Duffner. He's making $2 million a year. He's the 4th highest paid defensive coordinator in college football, so I think he stays. I would worry that Patrick Surtain isn't putting out feelers to become an NFL defensive back coach. That is what I heard, that he would like to go from college to pro. Positionally, I just can't see. I can't see it. I would make the move and say goodbye to Odell Higgins. I really have a lot of respect for Odell Higgins. We were both criminology in all the same classes at the same time at Florida State. I've known this man forever. I just feel like he's lost his edge. There was talk 3 or 4 years ago that he was going to leave, and, there was twice he came in on the interim after Jimbo Fisher, after Willie Taggart, and didn't get appointed as the head coach. I just think it's time for Odell Higgins. I really believe that. Offensively, I'm firing the entire staff. Every single offensive coach is gone, in my opinion. So those are the changes I would make this year for Florida State after their year.
All right, so in the words of the legendary Gene Kranz, the former flight director at NASA, what on the spaceship is good, Rick? What's good?
That may be the toughest. I've known you for 30 years. That may be the toughest question you've ever asked me. I don't know. I don't know what's good. I mean, I honestly, I'd love to be able to sit here and say Cam Davis is good. These rookie wide receivers are good. I tell you what's good. The 2 rookie tight ends. There you go. Thomas and Williams.
Right.
That's good. I want to say Luke Kromenhoek, but we can't. I mean, why isn't he going to be the guy under center tomorrow against North Carolina? Why are you going to bring out Brock Glenn again? Why did he get those last 2 drives against Miami? So we're going to have a full-fledged quarterback controversy once again. I wish I could sit here and list, 8, 10, 12 guys that really look promising. I just can't. They have played some real – I tell you who's maybe the most improved guy on this team, and he looked like he shouldn't even have been out there against Georgia Tech, Boston College, and Memphis. That's Omar Graham, number 9 at linebacker.
Right.
He was all over the place this past week, and I remember I totally wrote him off. But, yeah, that's a hard thing to do. And I will say this, with the transfer portal guys, you saw improvement with football players. And if you go back and look at Johnny Wilson's numbers and go back and look at Versa's numbers and Trey Benson's numbers, they didn't do a lot at their former stops. They got better under this staff and under Mike Norvell at Florida State. That's why I was really encouraged going into this year, because that was my belief. Players got better under him.
You know what I think happened? I think when Jalen Lucas got 2 carries, 13 yards, in that first touchdown drive, and you were like, my God, get him the ball. And and then they didn't.
Yeah.
And then he got hurt later.
Yeah.
I think that was the bad mojo. I think that's what did it for this season. Because if you're not giving that, if you're not a coaching staff that realizes that guy, if you went the entire training camp and realized that guy needs to get the ball some way, somehow, 15 times a game and weren't doing it against Georgia Tech, you got problems.
Yeah, and that's a fair point. But do you remember how bizarre that was? Because they scored on that opening drive. And then they came out again and they replaced a few offensive linemen. And in the first quarter, they used 5 different tailbacks. And it was almost like I'm trying to keep mom and dad happy, almost like it's a Pop Warner game. And it's like, you got to be kidding me. I mean, was that ignorance or arrogance that Keziah Holmes, Lucas, Cam Davis, Roydell Williams, Toafili, they all got carries in the first quarter of this football game against you? No one does that. I mean, you can't do it. And it's exploded ever since that. It's really been a really poor year as far as coaching.
All right, you love this city. You know this city well. You've been here for years. Before you go, I want to get your take on the Florida-Georgia game. First, how cool is it that it's, they've got the deal done to 2028 through 31 in the new stadium? And secondly, just every year, this game and how cool it is to have it here.
First of all, I'm glad they got this deal done because I get a little bit concerned. I was hoping that this was going to be Athens and Gainesville, not Atlanta and Tampa. It seems to me like contracts are always getting broken or attempted to get broken, so I don't want to see the world's largest outdoor cocktail party leave Jacksonville outside of those 2 years. Florida's so beaten up. I mean, to get their injury report today, it's real. And then we don't know about Montrell Johnson.
Yeah.
It's a shame because, Georgia looked like they were on a different level 2 weeks ago against Texas. And, they've been beaten up, as the Dogs have this year on the defensive side of the football field. Florida's really improved. I mean, to win 3 of 4 the way that they have, we talked about it at the top. I just think Georgia right now, I think they're the best team in the country. I know some will say, no, that's not the case. That's Oregon or whomever. I really think that this could get pretty ugly tomorrow. I see the line keeps coming down. It started around 17. It's now around 14 and a hook. I expect Florida to play hard, and I expect DJ Lagway to make some plays. But I think when it's all said and done, if I was a betting man, I would absolutely take Georgia and lay the points.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right. He's Rick Ballou. You hear him every night. Ballou into the night. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Matt Hayes, always a lot of fun. Thank you.
You know what? To Rick's point, Georgia is going to have to beat itself. If you want Georgia to lose this year, and again, as long as it's not Alabama. By the way, Georgia's just dying for LSU to beat Alabama next week in Baton Rouge. Dying for it. Because that takes Alabama out of the playoff. That way, the road is clear. Because if Alabama's still in that playoff somehow, and there's a chance those two can play again, Georgia wants no part of Alabama. No part. And I don't care how bad Alabama looked against Tennessee. And quite frankly, if Nico hits 2 or 3 of those deep balls that he missed, that might even be like a 42-10 loss for Alabama. Or whatever it was, 42-17. That could have been a much worse loss for Alabama. But Georgia wants no part of Alabama. All right, we need to go to break. And like I said earlier, we do have 2 ducats to the Florida Ole Miss game. You got to listen for the Gator Chomp. And it might be coming up at some point. We're going to come back and roll through some picks. It's the College Football Kickoff brought to you by Bueller, Aaron Plumbing, and Sonny's Real Pit Barbecue.
Can you make picks like a pro?
Yes!
The 10-10 Weekly Pick'em Contest is brought to you by MyBookie. Make the best picks and win a pizza party from Salvatore's Pizza at Tapestry Park.
Are we doing this?
You pick 'em at 1010xl.com.
Ballou here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Care you can see.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Let's start the debate. Why would someone buy a new car from you? We have an exclusive 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty on every new vehicle. We offer a competitive wow price plus free oil changes. How much will someone get for their trade? We offer more than $4,000 over KBV value. Well, we never lose a trade over price. Okay, when is the best time to buy a car? Right now. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter which side you pick. At Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet, you get it all. Let us show you why we're the winning vote.
Googan Nation, it's Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here to tell you this is no dream. The folks at Dreamfinders Homes right now have an unbeatable interest rate for you. You may not think you can afford a Dreamfinders home. Well, think again. Take advantage of a 2.99% year one rate. I said it, 2.99%. 15 Jacksonville communities to choose from. Find that dream house and take advantage of an unbeatable rate. Move now, literally. Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Football fans, huddle up. Make Best Bet St. Augustine your game day headquarters. We're serving up the ultimate viewing experience with all the big games on our massive screens, mouth-watering food specials till 2 a.m., drink deals to keep your spirits high, and we're open till 4 in the morning for post-game celebrations. Ante up for your team and score big at Best Bet St. Augustine this football season. For the play-by-play on our game day specials, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com. Best Bet St. Augustine, where every fan leaves a champion.
It's a Monday morning must.
We actually found it!
Yes. Hall of Fame Monday with Tony Baselli. Brought to you by Heritage Roofing of North Florida. Monday mornings at 7:20 with Dan and Jeff on the drill on 1010XL.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg from Underwoods. Clayton, you can buy almost anything today on the internet. What about loose diamonds and how they are priced?
Frank, it's interesting you'd ask that because we did some research on the internet to see how diamonds price on the various websites like Blue Nile. And what we found were diamonds of the same shape, weight, color, and clarity had vastly different prices, which probably had something to do with how the diamond was cut. But the only way to see the diamonds was to buy them. So we did a price comparison on diamonds where we could tell the diamonds were nicely cut, and what we found were our prices for beautifully cut Underwood diamonds were the same as theirs. So if you're shopping for diamonds and want real expert help, real quality and value, and don't want to pay just to look at a diamond, come by Underwoods. And remember, when a diamond comes from us, you get all the services, assurances, and guarantees the people in North Florida have learned to expect for over 80 years.
Underwoods in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Yo, it's your boy E.T. here, and come watch the Jags-Eagles game with me. That's right, I'll be at Mr. Chubby's Wings in Ponte Vedra on Sunday. $9 pitchers, best wings in town, and the NFL package with all the games on. They've got 54 TVs in that thing, so you won't miss anything. I'll be giving out some swag, too, from 1010XL and Mr. Chubby's. It's going to be a party, so make sure you come say hi. Again, $9 pitchers this Sunday at 4. Eagles Jags at Mr. Chubby's Wings in Ponte Vedra. Mr. Chubby's Wings, proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 5-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now graduate making over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or no student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost are the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org, and you can apply there.
Apply by November 7th.
Time now for a medical recap. A health and wellness tip from Jaguars head team physician Dr. Kevin Kaplan.
Your musculoskeletal system carries the body, meaning that it maintains the structure against gravity. If you want your joints to stay healthy and seek the simplest solution, the best answer is to lose weight. Don't forget, the more weight you put onto your joints, the more pressure and stress there is on your hips and knees. This translates to more pain if you're already having issues. Losing weight is the quickest way to alleviate joint pain and boost your joint health. Go Jags.
Clean air, cool air, both are extremely important. Trust Florida Home AC to deliver on both with their Remy Halo, the next generation of air quality technology. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC and breathe clean and cool air.
Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
This is Dr. Steve Crenshaw, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Rookie cornerback Jarian Jones is starting to come into his own in the NFL, as he's already off to a great start halfway through his first season. He's a very versatile corner, lining up inside and out, and finally got his first interception, picking off Jordan Love in the first quarter of last week's game. Ryan Nielsen is impressed from what he's seen from his new corner so far.
He's feeling more comfortable out there. He's playing more snaps, the different coverages and the things that position has to do, and just how he's moving around and playing physical. And the play he made in the red zone was a big time play, really, really good. So, but it just continue to see him grow at that position. And he could still go outside if we need him. He's kind of settling into that nickel position. And
I'm Max Fink with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is the Bueller Aaron Plumbing College Kickoff. Brought to you by Sonny's Barbecue on 1010XL.
All right, we're taking you all the way up to 7 o'clock. We'll hand it off to the Bishop Kenny Providence game. Yeah. So if you're hanging out RV City, jonesing for a little football. We got some high school football coming up. By the way, just a little maybe, I don't know if this is an omen or not, but Kyle just picked up the Florida Ole Miss tickets.
Yes, congrats to Kyle.
And Kyle's a Georgia fan.
He is. He said he'll be the only person wearing a dog shirt in there.
Kyle is a Georgia fan. What is,
bad omen for the Gators.
This is what the Billy Napier era has done to Florida fans, man. This is it. It's just beating them down, man. You know what? They may win 4 in a row to finish the season. What do I know? They may end up being, 8-4, and everything looks great. They go to a bowl game. They win the bowl game. They hit it 9-4. All kind of momentum. Hot quarterback. 2025. Here we go. Playoff. How about that? Yeah, I could see that. Why not? All right, let's get to these picks.
Were you waiting on me to say I could see that because I can't see that?
No, let's get
All
to
right.
the picks, man.
So we got our friend Justin on the line. Justin, hello. How are you?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's up, Justin?
So the last time we had a caller compete, Ian, he finally defeated us and got the Sonny's prize pack. So hopefully you can go 2 for 2 the last two shows for us, Justin. All right, so first up, we're going to go with Oregon at Michigan. This game looked a lot better before the season started. Michigan's been trending down all season. So Oregon is a 14.5-point favorite on the road in the Big House. Justin, who you got?
Give me Oregon.
See, I picked this game, by the way, because that line's intriguing.
It is.
It's very intriguing. And if Michigan can get off the field a few times, I'm going to take the 14.5. I'm going to take Michigan 14.5.
All right. I just don't think Michigan's going to go score for score, and maybe they'll pull away.
It's a long trip.
Yeah,
it's a long trip.
But I think Oregon pulls away in the fourth
the record
quarter.
of those teams making the both ways, west to east and east to west, I think now is 5-14.
Yeah. Not very good for the Big Ten, but I think it's going to get to 6 wins this weekend. All right. Ole Miss, we were just talking about them, at Arkansas. So this is a big one for Ole Miss. They absolutely have to win this to get to the playoff. Mississippi on the road, Justin, is a 7.5-point favorite. Who you got?
Give me Ole Miss.
Yeah, this is a dangerous spot for Ole Miss. Arkansas plays well at home. They play hard at home. They've got a little confidence. Arkansas can win this game. And I'm going to take the Hogs in the 7.5, actually. I think Ole Miss is going to win it, but that 7.5 is going to they'll cover.
All right. A game down south.
Wait, who are you taking?
Oh, sorry. I'm taking Ole Miss. Excuse me. Miami. I was super excited to get to this game. Miami is welcoming Manny Diaz back into the house. They are playing Duke at high noon. Miami is a 20.5-point favorite. Justin.
I'll take Duke.
Hang on one second. Did you put that Miami music in there, or did it automatically?
No, I did that on purpose.
Oh, I was gonna say that's pretty good, man.
That would have been good. That would have been great omen.
That would have been pretty dang good. I put this game in there again because 20.5 points for a team that's been pretty good on defense this year. 20.5. I'm going to take those points again. I keep taking points now this week. I'm taking the points in Duke.
Yeah, the thing about Duke is they can't score. But I just think with Manny Diaz, they're going to be motivated. I think Miami wins the game, but Duke covers. I'm going with Duke. All right, so let's hold off on UF-UGA. Let's go to the biggest game of the day. Ohio State at Penn State. This one also at noon on Fox. Ohio State on the road, Justin, is a 3.5-point favorite.
Ohio State.
Yeah, I've been saying this all week, and I'll say it again. I think Ohio State goes in there and blows them out. I don't care if Drew Aller's playing or not.
It looks like he is. It just came out.
Yeah, well, then I don't care who's playing, actually.
Yeah.
I think Ohio State goes in there and blows them out because, honestly, we're going to get into this after picks, but this is just a gigantic game for Ryan Day and that entire program.
Oh, yeah. I agree. I think Ohio State big. All right, last but certainly not least, world's largest outdoor cocktail party. The Dogs are laying 16.5 points right now. Justin.
Go Gators.
All right.
Justin's taking the Gators. That's a lot of points. It's a lot of points. They're playing better. If for Georgia to cover, their receivers are going to have to play better, and I'm not sure they're there yet. I don't know what's going on with London Humphreys, if he's completely healed or if he's ready or if he's, mindset more consistent with with the bye week. He's got 2 weeks now to get ready. It's not just him. It's the entire receiving corps. They've been very average this year. All that being said, I'm going to take those points. I think they actually make it. I think it's going to be something like 35-21.
Okay. I think Georgia wins by 20, so not like a huge blowout, but they cover the spread. All right, Justin, good luck.
All right, Justin, good luck, man.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So, before we wrap this thing up, we got a few minutes to go. I want to talk about that Ohio State-Penn State game real quick, then we'll wrap up on Georgia and Florida. Ohio State literally pushed every single last stinking chip into the middle of the table this offseason. Everything. They went and got Caleb Downs from Alabama. They got Seth McLaughlin, Alabama's starting center. They got Will Howard from K-State. They are in a situation, they took a sitting head coach from a Power 5 school, UCLA, Chip Kelly. Ryan Day convinced him to leave UCLA and come be his offensive coordinator. Their athletic director, Ross Bjork, confirmed this. They spent $20 million on player salaries this year. $20 million. Now, when pay-for-play arrives next year, the budgets are going to be $20 to $23 million. So, but believe me, 98% of the teams are not close to that right now. So they spent $20 million on their roster. Ryan Day's annual salary is $10 million a year. So check my math here, JJ, okay? That's $30 million. They spent $11.34 million on assistant coach salaries. Again, check my math, JJ. That's $41.34 million.
So far, so good.
$41 million because they wanted to beat Michigan. And they're 4 games away from Michigan. November just started. And they've already got a loss. They lose here. They're in a situation where their schedule will be 2 losses to the best 2 teams they played and nothing else. Now, you could say, okay, well, they'll have beaten Indiana, and Indiana has played no one. And by the way, Indiana's losing this week at Michigan State, and then that little train's going to end as well.
I love that call.
So think about that. 10-2 losses in both of the 2 most important games they've played. What do you do if you're the playoff committee? Do you let them in because they're Ohio State and they're a gigantic television property and it's the first year of the 12-team playoff? Do you just say, screw it, let's let them in?
Yes.
Yeah, that's dangerous, man. That is dangerous. Alabama's in a very similar situation. Alabama better beat LSU next week or they are not getting in the playoff. It's not going to happen. And you're going to have your first 12-team playoff ever without Alabama, which will be, again, a gigantic television property. Alabama and Ohio State might not be in the first playoff, which would just be ridiculous. Ridiculous. All right. How do the Gators win? Because we only say this, dog fans, because you all know you're going to win the game. How do the Gators win? Multiple turnovers, and you block. And I don't think they can block, and I don't think Carson Beck's throwing 3 picks again. Carson Beck played fantastic in this game last year. It's another homecoming for him. I don't think he's going to end his college career the last time he plays in Jacksonville, well, at college anyway, and have a bad game. So I like the Dogs. Doesn't matter. It's going to be a fantastic game. It's just the spectacle that it is. Just enjoy it, everyone. Enjoy it. Drink a lot, eat a lot, be safe, don't drink and drive, have fun. We'll see you next week.